folks. Welcome to Werewolf Radar, the world's premier paranormal preparedness podcast. My name is George Bell.
I am Nate Balding.
And I am Roger Norquist.
Today's episode of Werewolf Radar is brought to you by Monstroco Spray on Skin. Did you run out of skin on skin night? Spray it on, long and strong. Time-tasted, mother-scorned. Spray on skin from Monstroco. What the fuck?
It sounds horrific,
Yeah.
having too much skin, but last night I scratched myself before going out. Could have used it.
Could have used it. That's the thing, because you're always sustaining wounds. And spray it right on.
It's one of those better to have it and not need it
Yeah.
than need it and not have it.
Yeah, say your legs are skeletonized from the knees down in the night. You wake up the next day, spray some skin on those bones, baby. You're ready to walk to the hospital. Yeah, the muscles and stuff is going to be a problem, but you spray enough skin. People like, if you're riding the bus, it'll be fine. They'll be like, that guy has legs. And like, sometimes, honestly, on my, yeah, the kids talk about the Sunday scaries, right? On my weediest kind of days, just spray on a couple extra layers. I'll go out thick into the world, you know? Walking around like a human callus, nothing can hurt me. Somebody tries to cut my butt, wing! I'm wearing 6 or 7 layers of extra skin from the fine folks at Monstroco. Sure, I look like the Thing. And yeah, part of that is because the only clothes that fit me anymore is this big trench coat, and this hat, and these blue underpants. But none of it would have been possible without Monstroco spray on skin. Time tasted, mother scorned. Sometimes I'll spray some on the turkey at Thanksgiving, get a little extra crispy on there.
Ooh, yeah.
You can
Look, it's not
together,
cannibalism.
Rebind books in flesh. It's not cannibalism. Use it in a lasagna. Spray it on a cookie sheet and peel it off.
I've always been looking for a more protein-based arugula.
Oh, dude, skin.
Spray some layers of skin, cinnamon, chocolate in between, roll it up.
It is remarkably similar to phyllo dough. The thin pastry, you can barely tell the difference, folks. I'm here to tell you, I have upped the amount of skin in my diet substantially, and it shows. My skin is, I would say, slick with collagen. Anyway. All right, that was a fun one. Good work on Stroco. I would like to talk to you guys about.
Yes.
There's a couple of things. So I'm sort of in a.
Don't forget to open the speaking school box.
This could be. Oh, good lord, that was close.
I'm here for us.
And I will do that ever so gently. It's gone. It's gone. No. It was close. It's in there. It was tricking me. It was trying to trick me so that I would touch it without the glove on.
It wanted you to try and spray some of that skin to get a face.
Don't do that. You do not want to put a face on one of the Monstroco brand speaking skulls. At least it's too powerful, I would say. That's you're getting close to shrunken Svengali head at that point. It will start whispering to you, telling you to burn things. Okay. Did we already talk about this article from 2022? A YouGov.us, today.yougov.com, a poll revealed that 2/3 of Americans say they've had a paranormal encounter.
We might have, but it's important to talk about. 66% of people?
67.
I feel
An
like the
upper
statistic has
2/3.
come up, but
This is a great episode, or sorry, this is a great article from the folks at YouGov.
It's
in the
also a great
US.
episode, Jordan.
Yeah, tell your friends. Yeah, nudge whoever's next to you, threateningly.
This is a real good episode.
Great episode. No. Invite them nicely. Oh, God, I've done it again. Have you ever felt an eerie, unexplained presence? Asks Taylor Ortha, the director of survey data journalism at YouGov.com.
I think we got a nice sample poll. I think I have had a paranormal experience. What about you two?
Yeah.
Okay, that's 2/3 already. Can we go for 100%?
Yeah, no, we're at 100%.
Yeah.
So we're better.
Nate knows for a fact that the man can cast a spell on another man. I quote that joke of yours so often. Consistently. I would say once a week. It's my Roman Empire. Okay. Have you ever felt an eerie, unexplained presence, seen the lights flicker at unexpected moments, heard a whisper from a mysterious source? According to a recent YouGov poll, 2022, 67% of Americans believe they've had at least one of 13 paranormal experiences pulled out.
Like, it has
Oh, they break them down.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was gonna ask. It's one of these 13 categories.
They break them down, son. Would you like to start at the most common or the least common? And which way do you guys want to work our?
I think least to most.
Okay.
And we'll be surprised of who has
I think you're right.
Yeah, the most common.
I think you're right. Nate, what do you think?
No, I think that's the way to go.
Okay. Least common at 10% with a yes. Say they have seen a demon.
Ooh,
That's where I'm at.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's my friend Mike and I. This must have been in. Well, I don't know. We were probably we had snuck out of the house, so we must have been 15. So this would have been like 1996, and we'd gone to my friend James Burns' house to listen to records and drink some Black Labels.
Yeah.
We were walking back. And we were going through Franklin Park. This is in Bellingham, Washington.
Yeah.
And we walked, it's, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning or something, probably. And a devil leapt off of the top of, I don't know, it was like a slide or some shit. It was behind us, and we heard it hit the ground. We turn around, and there's a fucking devil.
Now, could you describe it a little bit? Because right now, in my head, I'm picturing the commercial devil.
Giant ass horns.
Okay.
Crazy looking legs. And it came rushing at us.
What the fuck?
And we just both booked it. And we ran into the woods. We jumped into a little hole behind some trees, you know, kind of
Hobbit style.
Yeah, exactly. And just hung out there for like 20 minutes until we were pretty sure that it wasn't around anymore.
Whoa.
And to this, we both experienced this, and we were both like, that was a devil. That was the Franklin Park devil.
Nate, I'm sure you have told me this at some point before, but it feels like we are now at 15 years into the podcast, only now hearing the devil story.
Well,
That's
honestly,
insane.
Also,
That's so wild.
What's the chance of this being, and no spoilers for the Grave Nugget, truly, but could this have been a monkey man situation, a man in a monkey suit? But devil suit?
You know, I've thought about it a lot.
I would imagine it stays with
over the years. And because I was like, well, it could have been a person with like stylized ass hair, like, or something like that. But no, we're both pretty convinced that it was some sort of demonic entity.
Wow. Wow, that's terrifying, dude. That's the least common one, folks.
I'm excited to see where my experience falls on that. Or truly 3 experiences.
Okay, next up, with 11% of people, it feels like we're blowing past this, and we need to do like a whole episode about people who feel like they've seen something similar to that. Maybe that's what I'll look up for next week. That's wild.
And,
what a
hey,
crazy story.
if you have had a similar experience, feel free to email us or
Please
hit us up in the comments of our YouTube. werewolfradar.com. We'll do a whole episode on our weirdly shared demon experiences.
What did you see? What did you see? Incredible. Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to blast past that without giving the due what?
Oh yeah.
Okay, next up, with 11% of people have explained seeing unexplained smoke. I would say that I've seen this, but unexplained smoke does not a ghost mean.
Could be a small electrical fire that gets shorted out immediately.
That's true.
Could be weirdly like very light dust, which can move in similar patterns.
Truth. Could be teens
just smoking straight up.
Smoking, and
sure.
With their cigarettes, their clove and spiced cigarettes. So who knows? Or it could be unexplained smoke from a ghost. Who knows? 13% of people believe they have seen an angel.
Nope.
19% of people say they have seen a spirit or a ghost. I'm here
on that one.
I'm in 11% as well. I suppose I've seen smoke that I've been like, wonder where that came from, but I never pulled the ghost alarm. 20% of people, now we're getting into the heat. 20% of people believe they have seen a door open or close without explanation.
I thought that one would be more common.
22% of people say they have seen unexplained orbs of light. 22% of people polled also said they had seen an object move without an explanation.
I think I might be on that ball of light, but I've seen that blue mist that screamed at me.
I think you're definitely both of these too. You saw the clown.
I saw the clown move, the clown doll. Listen to old Werewolf Radars, but a clown doll turned its head to look at me when I was a kid.
If the episode is not called Roger's Close Encounter, that's on us.
I will go back, find every episode that I talk about it on. I will rename each episode.
And I have bloody fingers from doing the code work on this one. 25% of people believe they have seen lights or other devices turn on or off without an explanation. I've seen this one. 28% of people polled believed they felt an unexplained change in temperature. 29% of people believe they heard the voice of someone who wasn't there. Yeah, I've heard that.
Yep. With my dog when it died, I heard that panting and stuff when I was trying to sleep many nights.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard both of these. Unexplained old odor. 30% of people, yes. 33% of people report hearing an unexplained sound or music.
I've heard that at Mouth House.
I've heard that too. I heard whistling one. And coming in at number 1. Would you like to guess what it is? 37% of people can all agree that they have. 30% of people polled, and ultimately 67% of Americans.
I don't think that's how stats work, but I'm on board.
I don't know either, and I'm desperately trying to reconcile the two of them. I'm sure it makes sense to someone who understands statistics.
From what I understand, we have 66%, then we're taking that and dividing the 100%.
All right, look.
Well, it's 67% total.
This was getting really close to my math phobia.
Me and Nate gotcha.
Oh no, there's a specific. Oh no, there's a numbers-based algorithm for proving what a fraud I am. Okay, what do you think? Coming in, 30% of people polled believed that they all agreed that they had.
And this is specifically supernatural, paranormal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, what could it
broad,
be
I'll
outside
give
of
you
what we
that.
talked about, though?
It's
Well,
pretty broad.
Right. Because so it's not going to be
So
aliens.
the last ones, yes. The last ones have been 29% said they heard a voice, 30% said they smelled something, 33% said they heard something.
Then it would be see something. They saw a ghost or
37%. No. Seeing a ghost is down.
oh, my bad.
19%.
Damn, this is a hard puzzle.
It's tough. I mean, it's too big of a pool.
It's not sleep paralysis.
No, but we'll get into that shortly. It is feeling a presence or
Oh, I guess, yeah,
Okay.
like sensing it.
sensing it. Yeah.
Sure.
So here's some quotes from the people
The
who
sixth sense.
took the, if you will. Thank you.
I will not.
He was the ghost all along. Here's some quotes from the people who were polled. 37% of Americans say they felt a presence or unknown energy. Now we'll go backwards. Serpentine. Like they do on All Fantasy Everything. Check it out, everybody.
Because of the
That's another
snipers.
good podcast.
They're always running from
Exactly.
snipers on that podcast.
It's so
It makes the
strange.
show it makes the show exciting, but it is strange.
But it's stressful. Kind of like it's a lot like Breaking Bad in that way.
You
Okay.
hear that? Your show is
I
like
hear
Breaking
that.
Bad, and that's a compliment.
AFE, we're fans of the tension that you've built throughout your podcast by the simple fact that one of you is always being hunted by a squad of unseen manhunters. Okay. Number one, 37% of Americans say they felt a presence or unknown energy. This is a quote. I woke up immediately after my grandfather had passed away and felt something was in the room with me. I saw what looked like heat waves hanging in the air beside the bed. Felt the presence. Another one. I was laying in bed in my old apartment I rented. I woke up and it felt like someone was on my chest. I tried to scream and it was like I didn't have a voice. Then all of a sudden the weight was lifted and I found myself on the floor. I never slept in that room again.
Damn, that's a wild one.
Unexplained sound or music. My mother and I would hear music and a baby crying in our old house. It was late at night. None of our neighbors were close enough to hear, and they didn't have babies. Another person says, I heard a music box play on its own at the exact same time I felt the presence of a loved one.
Some of them are very still spooky by the sense that it is unnatural that is happening, but it's some of them are heartwarming.
Yeah, a lot of them are. A lot of them have to do with loved ones who have passed or, people you have a connection to.
Wanted to say,
Yeah.
you're still pretty cool. Here's
Yeah.
a song.
Smelled an unexplained odor. You're still pretty cool. Now, here's Florence and the Machine. I made this playlist for you. Unexplained odor, 30%. I often smell cigarette smoke and nobody in the house smokes, but my deceased mother-in-law did. Whenever I smell cigarettes, I believe she's visiting us. Interesting. I like the thought, but that stuff can linger. I smell my grandpa's pipe smoke sometimes. And
In the ancestral house.
no,
Oh,
that's the thing.
Just
like it's an olfactory lingering sense, like smell that you correlate to a memory.
Yeah, enough so that I comment on it, and then I can't smell it anymore.
Okay.
So maybe a hallucination, but I definitely have smelled it. And it always in that moment makes me think like, my grandpa might have something to say about what's happening right now.
Could be for good or bad, or
who's
both
beefing
sides.
it? Who needs a slap upside the head? Whatever. Smelling the cologne of my mother, stepmother, and grandpa in my room after they died. Dreaming of them with realistic and current conversations. Interesting. 29% of Americans say they've heard the voice of someone who wasn't there. Quote, my husband and I heard and occasionally recorded a demonic voice in the stairwell of our house one evening in 2019. It was not water pipes nor an animal in the walls. This was a protracted, forcefully articulated sentence spoken in some language that made no sense. If I had been alone, or even if we hadn't caught it on our Nest Cam, I would probably have doubted what I heard. But we have the recording, and it's still pretty chilling.
I'm going to need that recording, please.
I'm going to need to never hear it ever.
Okay, I'll tell you how bad it curses me.
Baby.
Well,
Okay.
now, hold on, because maybe it is the pipes. And the pipes are like, I was here first.
I thought you were going to say, and the pipes know ancient Aramaic.
Yeah, where were the pipes made?
All pipes speak a different language.
What language do the pipes speak?
Oh, it's Pipe Zuzu.
Okay. The pipe demon, oh no! Have you ever read that SCP about Pipe Pal?
No.
Sounds horrific. Is it
really
World 6 of Mario? Super Mario 3? Is it that Pipe World?
Pipe World is something else. That's a very specific website.
Oh.
Okay, moving on. Another quote about hearing a voice. After my grandmother was killed in an automobile accident, I distinctly heard her voice telling me that she was okay and I shouldn't be upset about the details of how she died.
I misunderstood that. Say that again?
After my grandmother was killed in an automobile accident, I distinctly heard her voice telling me that she was okay and I shouldn't be upset about the details of how she died.
Oh, that's comforting.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought you said
yeah,
the other way, and she told me the details of how she died. And I was like, oh.
And I had the gas pedal lodged in my eye. The gear shift pierced my torso. No, Grandma, please.
Please stop, Grandma. I'm eating.
Stop. Yeah.
I mean, you should be sort of upset about it, because it's a deadly automobile accident.
Yeah. But I imagine
It's
they were
pretty upsetting no matter what.
lingering on the gritty, grimy. Like,
Yeah.
versus
Versus
what? Ground off by the pavement?
my friend died in high school by car accident, and that was one of the things that the counselor told us to be able, and overall it was, please don't focus on the details. It seemed to be an instant death.
There you go.
You know, to where like maybe that's what the grandma was saying, like, please stop this. I died. Overall, there was no pain. It was so instant.
Yeah. Scary.
Scary still. Yeah.
28% of Americans say they felt unexplained change in temperature. This person says, I was in a 100-year-old hotel in Brazil with abandoned floors that were accessible. As my friend and I explored, the temperature dropped and we saw orbs. Another person says, lying in bed at night, suddenly felt like someone was lying next to me. I felt a burst of cold air and a hand on my shoulder. 25% of Americans say they've seen lights or other devices turn on or off without explanation. When I was young, Mom had a little girl ghost that moved house to house with us. One night, the ghost turned on the lights and TVs all simultaneously. Mom and I unplugged everything and went back to bed. Not 15 minutes later, it all came back on. TVs were blaring. Terrifying.
And I assume plugged in.
Oh, this next one is also terrifying. Several encounters with ghosts, including one that turned on the burner on the gas stove while I watched the knob turn from 5 feet away.
That's terrifying.
That's literally from fucking Final Destination.
Yeah, maybe Final Destination stole it from this.
Maybe. 22% of Americans say they've seen an object move without explanation. We purchased our home back in 2010. Within the first couple of weeks, we started to hear noises, things moved, and certain items disappeared. The items usually came back after a few days, but sometimes it was weeks and months before the items reappeared. I've seen our, quote, friend several times. Shadows that move, etc.
You guys are more intelligent on that, should you consider these friends, or is that giving them too much agency in your life? Because I hear that sometimes you shouldn't acknowledge it because it makes them
Yeah.
more powerful, blah, blah, blah.
Nate?
Uh, I mean, how do they mean friend? Is it like quote unquote friend?
With benefits.
Oh,
No, they do say
benefits.
quote unquote friend.
It's always just that, like, should you be doing that even
Yeah,
in
yeah.
jest?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess probably not.
Yeah. For my money, I think Roger's right. The less tangible a relationship you try to forge with these things, the less chance that they'll think that they can,
Have
on the
some sort of
lights.
influence over.
Yeah, have some sort of influence, or maybe that's what you're looking for. In which case, I would say probably back off of that. But, but yeah, I don't know if this were if I actually had like a haunting that I was concerned about, if it was something where it was like we're all having nightmares, I saw the gas thing turn on, I probably wouldn't talk about it a lot in the house, and I would like get someone in without mentioning it.
Yeah, well, especially like with the gas thing, it's like,
That's
it feels like this ghost is trying to do me harm.
yeah, easy fuckface. What are you doing? Yeah. Anyway, but maybe you got one of them friendly ghosts, and then it turns out it's never a ghost. It's always like some sort of like ancient Sapupu demon or something, who's like, "I'm your friend, Tommy. Tommy wants souls."
Pretty please.
I'm allowed to have souls sometimes and blood. 20% of Americans say they've seen doors open or close without explanation. We won't get into the sleep paralysis stuff, by the way. This is taking up the entire thing.
That's fine.
This person says, I went to my friend's house. She reportedly had seen many ghosts in her house. She said they slammed the kitchen doors, and I agreed with her, although I had my doubts. Hours after I got there, we were sitting in the kitchen, and her cupboard doors started opening and slamming shut. It was very scary. There have been a couple times when I was pet sitting at my grandma's and had the animals with me in the room and heard doors and drawers being opened and shut. Okay, this is the good shit. 19% of Americans say they've seen a spirit or a ghost. This is one of many paranormal experiences I've had. It's happened 50 years ago, and it's something I will never forget. A friend's father had passed away, and I was spending the night at their home. I was apparently thirsty and woke up in the middle of the night to get a drink of water. When I sat up in bed, I saw the deceased man standing in the doorway of the room I was sleeping in. I turned to get my bathrobe at the foot of the bed, and when I looked back, he was gone. When I learned the next day is that I had been sleeping in his room.
Like how you went to get the bathrobe as opposed to that blunderbuss with the silver in it.
Yeah. Another person says, I used to see ghosts when I was little. My mom said when I was very young, she caught me in the kitchen trying to turn on the burners. When she asked what I was doing, she said I told her a little girl told me to do it. She ended up taking the knobs off the burners for a while. I don't remember but vaguely remember being terrified of things I'd see at night when I was around 4 or 5 years old.
Oof.
Yeah, that's a good move on the mom's part.
Yes. Maybe a little bit of an annoyance, but I will not have my child assisting a ghost in arson.
Yeah. Some other things that we've learned from this, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, but here's some interesting facts. 2 in 5 Americans, 39%, say at least one of 7 say they have at least one of 7 paranormal abilities talked about, including psychically sense others' emotions or auras. I feel I can do this sometimes. Hear voices or sounds from spirits or ghosts. Psychically see current events you are not physically present for. Again, psychically see events in the past, physically see events in the future, read minds, communicate with the dead. Younger Americans seem more likely to believe they have paranormal abilities. with people in their 20s. No, wait. No, wait. Sorry. People from about. Jeez, let's see. I have a hard time reading graphs.
Share that graph.
18 to 44-year-olds believe 15% of 14% of 18 to 44-year-olds believe they can communicate with the dead. And 18% of them claim to be full-on Ben 10s. Next up, nothing for Ben 10, huh? No Ben 10 heads?
I had to remember the premise of it. That's where he had 10 different powers because of an alien.
Yes, I took a shot. That's on me. I reached too far.
Don't worry, the picture came up. It showed Ben 10.
People who say that they have these encounters are also more likely to say that they've seen a ghost, live in haunted houses, etc. They talk a little bit about sleep paralysis, and I really wanted to get you to the those people who claim to have seen a demon. This is in the sleep paralysis segment, and these people have some quotes such as, "I was sleeping next to my boyfriend and I woke up in a spiritual state, hovering over him. I opened my mouth to scream into his face as I hovered over him, but no sound came out." Terrifying. That's not the demon one, though. This is. "I had an encounter with a demon over my infant daughter's soul. In the middle of the night, I brought my baby back to bed with me to breastfeed. A skull face came up over the side of the bed, and suddenly I couldn't move or speak as it spoke into my mind to tell me she was his. I was extremely scared and started praying in my head. Within seconds, I could move and the demon disappeared. I said a lot more prayers, thanking my Lord." Demonic cats and cat-like creatures also featured heavily in descriptions of people's experiences with sleep paralysis, such as the one featured in the popular painting The Nightmare by Henry Fuseli, as well as in one respondent's story. "There is a cat that has attached itself to me. Many nights I feel it at the bottom of my bed. I feel like if it ever comes to the head of my bed, I will die."
Wow.
Yeah, that prophecy sucks.
That's a tough one. Yeah, and that's a bummer. But that thus ends my segment. That I'm going to call National Census Taker.
That's a good one.
And I am going to close the ornate box containing the speaking skull, and hopefully it will apportate to one of your similar boxes and or somewhere else.
Nate, I do believe you should be seeing the box because I forgot to take down my ward. Let me remove some of these little pieces of tape that I have that block ghosts from Monstrogo, of course.
Monstrogo brand ghost tape.
Ghost tape for making wards and such. Says that right on the box.
I do indeed have the skull over here.
Right.
So I want to talk about it's sort of true crime, borderline paranormal. The strange death of Netta Fornario.
How weird is this? How strange it be?
Well, let's find out, huh? In November of 1929, the naked body of a young woman was discovered on the windswept Scottish Isle of Iona. She lay on a cross roughly carved in the turf. In one hand, she clutched a knife, and another lay nearby. There were few signs of injury to her body. Strangely, The heavy silver crucifix the woman wore had turned black.
Oh.
That woman was Netta Fornario. Here's a little background on Netta. Born in Cairo, Egypt in 1897 as Marie Nora Emily Edith Fornario. She would later go by Nora and then eventually change that to Netta after she started getting heavily into spiritualism. And she went with Netta kind of as a symbolic change of self. Daughter of Nora Edith Ling and Giuseppe Nicola Raimundo Fornario. An English mother and an Italian doctor father. Her mother dies in 1898, the following year. She was placed in the care of well-to-do tea dealer Thomas Pratt Ling, her maternal grandfather, and lived with him and his family at Layham Court Road, Stratham. Prior to that, apparently, she had lived in Italy, although it seems like she was sent there pretty young.
Yeah, this was like a boarding school situation. Like, leave my house, child. I'm doing adult British things.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what it seems like. She doesn't have a very good relationship with her father. But
you know who's gonna fix it? Those Italian nuns.
her mom's parents were I guess quite well off. At the time, London and the surrounding area had many occult societies and orders operating with the rich and famous. She became a member of the Alpha et Omega, which is an offshoot of the Order of the Golden Dawn.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's Crowley's thing?
It is Crowley, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't found it, but he does eventually take it over. I think it might have been run by like William Butler Yeats or somebody before Crowley. I don't know. There was some sort of schism that allowed Crowley to run the Golden Dawn. She was also an officer in a co-masonry lodge in West London. And apparently a co-masonry lodge is just a Freemason lodge that admits both men and women. So she's deep in. Members of these orders dedicated themselves to learning ancient magical rites, going into meditative trances, summoning spirits and demons, and participating in intricate ceremonies that could last for days. She was also suspected of being a Rosicrucian. She's spread pretty fucking wide here.
She is all about that unorthodox belief system.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, she wants a bit of it.
Truly taking all the side quests.
Yeah, so that's kind of where she's at before she answers the call of the idol.
All of the food.
Which apparently is a big thing for this tiny Iona island. In fact, it's known as the Call of the Isles, a strange stirring in the soul, a compulsion or need to travel from wherever you are in the world to the beautiful islands of the Scottish Hebrides.
Oh, the Hebrides.
Hebrides.
Mm-hmm.
And in particular, the bewitching, spiritual, and enigmatic Iona. Just 3 miles long and 1 mile wide, with a population of 120, Iona still attracts over 130,000 visitors a year.
So the call is real.
Yeah, the call exists. Since St. Columba first dragged his wicker coracle ashore in 563, it has been known as the, quote, cradle of Christianity, a place of pilgrimage. His wooden abbey, like the Picts he set about converting, has long gone, but still the pilgrims come. The true history of the island is lost in the dark mists of time, but tales of dragons, selkies, fairies, saints, and miracles draw the visitors.
Cool.
Some come to pray in the little stone abbey and visit the Reilig or Rain. Maybe.
Scottish that up for us, Jordan.
Where the kings of Scotland lie buried in an earth so sacred it purifies sin.
Whoa, dang. Get me some of that. Earth.
Some walk amongst the ruins of the Augustinian nunnery, where the black nuns once secreted themselves. Secreted themselves, rather.
Nothing to do with secretions.
They just sweated in a room and like collected it, sold it to pilgrims.
Dripping.
I mean, they could have.
Nun drippings. I guess that's the gamer girl bathwater of the 4th century or whatever.
14th.
14th, might be.
Devoting their lives to God. Others search for fairy rings and ancient ghosts. And some, they just come for the stunning beauty and the strange ethereal light, which allows those who see it to believe that maybe, just maybe, there's a heaven after all. In the autumn of 1929, however, Netta Fornario answered her call, presumably for all of those things. A call that took her from her comfortable home in London and brought her to this strange and hallowed place.
From her comfy bed.
Netta must have made an odd sight as she disembarked from the ferry, dressed in her strange arts and crafts clothes and swathed in a long black cloak.
Yeah, she's not like other girls.
I truly picture her as a patchwork of accessories from every different occult thing she studied. You know, very early Gothic, proto-Gothic.
100%. Yeah,
every era has its Zoe Deschanel.
As she is a spirit that passes from person to person.
A spirit of whimsy and delight. A manic pixie dream pixie.
I mean, you can actually see her behind me.
Yeah, I assume that's who she was there.
Oh, wow, cool. Interesting. Whoa, she looks like a fucking level 17 druid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's got a wicked sick staff covered in vines and flowers and stuff.
Netta.
Should we all play her in our next D&D campaign? Each person is just a different character of her.
No, I'm going to be playing an infernal bard, I've decided, who didn't necessarily win the Fiddle Made of Gold challenge.
It's a very good character.
Yeah.
Despite having made no arrangements for accommodation, she brought with her numerous trunks and enough furniture to fill a cottage. On such a small island, it was down to good luck that she found a room at the, and I'm going to butcher this, Track More.
Ooh. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, Jordan approves.
Close enough.
Dude, Scott's words, it's like when you get, the further back you start going to that root language, the more it's like, letters don't help us here.
Letters can't help you where I will take you, boy.
Really, there comes a point where it's just like, oh yeah, TH is a W sound. Let's just go with sounds.
Some distance from the village. The kind and hospitable owner, Mrs. Cameron, made her guest welcome, and although she was intrigued, asked no questions of her strange visitor. The woman, she decided, was clearly quite ill. Pale and tired, Netta slept a great deal and took short walks of no more than a few hundred meters. If Mrs. Cameron and her island neighbors believed that Netta had come to Iona for her health, they were mistaken. Netta's visit to Iona was for a very different reason.
Okay.
Ready.
I think I'm ready. God, I'm not ready.
Well, so Netta believed that she had been given the gift of healing, and I don't know if she believed she had the gift of healing or if she developed it through her Rosicrucian Alpha et Omega studies.
Right, multi-classing.
And fasted to the point of illness so that she could enter a trance-like state and be at one with nature and the universe. So it is very druid-based. She advised her alarmed host, Mrs. Cameron, that if she was ever discovered in such a trance, under no circumstances was a doctor to be called.
Oh.
Netta, it transpired, had traveled to Iona to undertake, quote, a terrible case of healing.
Oh.
She was trying to channel the green ray elementals.
What?
This is a new class for a new race of elementals to play.
And esta economia?
These are the fairies or spirits that protect nature's life force, causing things to grow and heal.
Dang.
Perhaps she believed that life force was strongest on Iona, or perhaps she thought that something evil lurked on the island that only she could destroy.
Oh.
We will never know. On Sunday, November 16th, Netta emerged from her room in an agitated, panicked state.
Uh-oh.
She needed to leave the island immediately.
Oh boy.
Something or someone was trying to hurt her.
Uh-oh.
She spoke of a rudderless ship that crossed the sky and strange visions. Mrs. Cameron tried to calm her, explaining there would be no ferry until the morning, but Netta would not be placated until the family helped her pack up all of her belongings, ready to leave at the first opportunity.
Wow.
She then retreated to her room to wait. Some hours later, Netta emerged calmer. She told the family that she had decided to stay after all. Mrs. Cameron was to say subsequently that Netta appeared to have been through a terrible ordeal. She had visibly aged, and there was a haunted, faraway look in her eyes. She also appeared resigned to her fate. The following morning, when the Camerons awoke, Netta was gone. When she hadn't returned by afternoon, a search began. The locals scoured the tiny island looking for the missing woman. When the light failed, the search continued. The moon was full and the northern lights danced and rippled across the star-strewn skies.
Strange things are done in the midnight sun by the moon oil photo.
Men with
lights have seen queer sights that make your blood run cold.
Now I got goosebumps.
That's it. That's a poem by a guy named Robert W. Service that me and my dad love. It's called The Cremation of Sam McGee. It's very spooky.
The goosebumps were not a joke. I very much was like, what is this that you are reciting to me? Are you possessed, Jordan?
I'll send it to you, dude. It rips.
Please do.
Men with lanterns searched until dawn. When day broke, they were joined by the women and children. It wasn't until the early hours of November 19th that Netta's body was discovered by two locals, Hector McLean and Hector McNiven. Next to Shethan Moore. The Fairy Hill of Iona. She lay on a cross she had carved into the ground. In one hand, she held a knife. Another was found close by. She was completely naked except for a silver cross around her neck that had tarnished and blackened.
And I have done some cursory Googling research on that. Silver can tarnish. It typically takes a decent amount of time, but it happens over a single lifetime. But the black, the turning to black is a natural process caused by its reaction to sulfur.
Whoa.
Okay.
So we all know what that means. She saw Bigfoot.
It is a fairy hill.
And he blasted her with one of those famous big farts.
Yeah, you saw where I was going with it.
Yeah, we've been playing Monster Hunter. we know how they go. We know how the monsters do. That's wild. I'm playing The Witcher, as I was telling the lads before we started playing The Witcher 3 again. This feels so much like a Witcher tale that it's like blowing my mind. Like, Geralt would know what to do.
Despite the bitter cold, her black cloak lay folded next to her. Except for scratches to her toes and a few on her body, she appeared completely uninjured. It wasn't long before strange tales of the supernatural emerged.
Yeah.
Pardon me. Blue lights had been witnessed on the island since Netta's arrival, and a cloaked figure seen out walking with Netta could not be identified. The police, after reading Netta's, and bear in mind, this is a tiny ass island.
Yeah.
And they couldn't find her for 2 days.
You thinking totally off the island, maybe? You know, like there was a day in which she was in the Fey realm.
Yeah.
Battling.
It's possible.
And then came across a demon, which is, I think, the true sign of sulfur smell. And, you know, that cross goes black, baby.
I mean, truly, there are like... So that's the story of, like, you go to the fairy realm and that you're forced to dance for years and ages, you know, even though a single night has passed or whatever. This is wild. This is kind of freaking my bean.
I do have to say, I'm more on board with paranormal mystery than just normal mystery.
Maybe this was how people... I mean, that experience where she comes out and she's like flipping out and then comes out later is like, I'm okay now, is definitely like indicative of somebody having, let's say, a manic episode or something, but also a bad trip. This sounds like she was taking that witch grease.
Could be.
And doing battle with metaphysical forces. Better. They won.
Yeah, or like you were saying earlier, that story of when you go to the Fey realm and time passes faster than it does in our realm, explaining her aged out of nowhere.
Explaining the tarnish on the silver. Tarnish
it could be as well quickly,
over the course of 2-3 days. That happens over months, years.
Yeah. Like I said, over a lifetime, but we're talking like years. Everyone asking was all like, why is my ring turning black after all these years? Not like days or anything.
Yeah. That's why they polish the silver.
It's all gummed up with the soot and fish guts.
Probably.
The police, after reading Netta's private letters and diary, were so troubled they passed them on to the Procurator Fiscal's office, where they were either lost or destroyed. Netta's friend, Dion Fortune, author of Psychic Self-Defense, put forward her own theory. Here's the quote. I knew Miss Fornario intimately. She was half English and half Italian, and was especially interested in green ray elemental contacts. Too much interested in them for my peace of mind. and I became nervous and refused to contact with her. It appeared to me that Mac, as we called her, was going into very deep waters, even when I knew her, and that there was certain to be trouble, certain or later. She had evidently been on an astral expedition from which she never returned. She was not a good subject for such expeditions.
I bet it definitely does take the right mindset. If taking too many psychedelics has taught me anything, I am not good for this adventure.
Well,
Yeah.
check this next thing out. Dion also claimed to have seen the strange scratches on Netta's body on other victims. She claimed that they were a response to psychic attacks from the former leader of the Alpha et Omega Temple, Moina Mathers. As Mathers had been dead for 18 months, she could only have inflicted the scratches from beyond the grave.
Yeah, that's quite a head stumper outside of just some weirdo scratching.
Dion does not elaborate on Moina's motives. Other writers have since supported Fortune's theories and point to puzzling discrepancies surrounding Netta's death. Why on such a tiny island was she not discovered for 2 days, and how did a woman so frail manage to travel over a mile barefoot without badly injuring her feet?
Very good question.
Well, she had scratches on her toes.
Well, they say the only scratches were on her toes. Had she run tiptoed across jagged rocks and rough moorland? Or did she, as one writer suggests, levitate to the place of her death?
And then the feet were still dragging, explaining the scratches. I assume, are you guys thinking they're on the bottom? Because I was thinking they're on the top of the toes.
Oh, I think they're on the bottom, probably.
I was thinking the top of the toes, too. But now I'm thinking the bottom. Like you guys. We're all friends.
Netta had few relatives to mourn her death. Of course, her mother died, and she was estranged from her father. Giuseppe handed over Netta's care to her English grandparents, who had since passed away. Occasionally, the father and daughter holidayed together. On a trip to Egypt, the two had argued over a statue of Osiris, which he had bought for his daughter.
Who hasn't had a family argument about a statue of Osiris, though?
Dad, where's my statue of Osiris?
Well, I don't know, sweetheart. I put it in the dishwasher like everything.
You put it in the what?
She claimed that the statue was cursed, but Professor Fornario, a rational man of science, told his daughter that she was ridiculous. The two never spoke again. However, on November 17th, 1929, he was overcome by a strange feeling of foreboding and doom. He could not shake off the feeling that something was wrong with his daughter. When he later learned of Netta's death, he could only explain his feelings as a premonition or telepathy. Pardon me. And he never forgave himself. In a final twist of irony, the cause of Netta's death was recorded as exposure of the elements. On the 21st of November, her body was laid to rest with the Kings of Scotland.
Oh.
A simple headstone marks her grave. Iona had called, and Marie Emily Fornario, Netta, had answered with her life.
It's pretty neat, though. Some from druid of the land to buried with kings.
Yeah. Really. What a tale. That's really interesting.
It is weird.
A lot of weird coincidences. Yeah.
I almost went with a Scottish wizard tale today. We deserve to hear about him next.
We do talk a lot about Irish things, some British stuff, but I don't think we've gone into too much Scottish things.
We keep our secrets. I don't like to talk about that.
Well, I mean, if we're going with birth citizenship, technically she's an Egyptian wizard.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah,
Just
that's
have to take our wizards away, don't you? Just don't like that we have wizards.
I don't know. You guys were allowed to have wizards since you lost the war.
We did. We gave up the war. On purpose. We let them win.
there's an old, I think it's an invite them up, where Eugene Merman talks about going to Scotland, and he describes it as being a land full of various types of wizards.
Not wrong.
Well, then may I open up
Let me.
my speaking skull box? I mean, not opening it yet. You got to send it over.
Well, yeah, it's in there,
Ooh,
closed, locked.
man. And here it now appears in my box, sitting on my lap, chewing on my knees. It doesn't hurt, but it's not uncomfortable, but it purrs afterwards, and the skull gets pretty adorable.
It's a marvelous technology.
So, gentlemen, I don't think we've ever talked about this. This is a Werewolf Radar original segment,
Ooh.
never rehashed before. I don't even think we've talked about anything similar to this. This is from The Travel, and it is under a paywall. Remember, 12foot.io, wonderful way to get around all paywalls for the most part. It is titled The Eerie Woman's Voice Heard Deep in the Pacific That Is Still a Mystery 25 years later.
Yikes.
Written by one Carla DeMary. Please check out her work. She seems to be similar-minded of the interesting and bizarre. And I will read her words now. Over the years, researchers have uncovered some truly amazing finds, including a 100-year-old Prohibition-era whiskey bottle that washed ashore on a New Jersey beach, and the remains of a rare 1700s British military post hiding beneath the sands of Florida.
Whoa. I must have missed that one.
Oh, everyone did. It kind of left public record and whatnot. Like, these were just kind of, I remember the British military post who were like, this was just here, huh? And no one decided to keep records on it. However, not all discoveries lead to answers. For example, the strange handcrafted puppets found atop an ancient pyramid in El Salvador. We will look into those one day.
Yeah, we definitely need to stay. For personal reasons, we need to keep abreast of any puppet-related emergencies that might arise globally, please.
And a strange underwater graveyard off the New Jersey coast. Once again, a weird example of lack of record keepings.
Weird.
Another discovery, an eerie sound similar to a woman's voice captured deep in the Pacific, has also stumped researchers and suggests that humans may not be any closer finding out what really lives at the bottom of the ocean. The way she uses the word humans makes it seem like she's not one of us.
Sure.
Carla,
But to be fair,
you have to tell me if you're an alien. That's the law.
Yeah. It is the law.
So when did this happen? This happens in 1999. On March 1st, 1999, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration captured an eerie sound in the Pacific Ocean. According to NOAA, it was loud enough to be detected over 3,000 miles away and lasted almost 3 minutes. You might be thinking this was the blob or the blue.
The blue.
But no, it is not. because the bloop, we've heard of, it does not exactly sound like a woman's voice.
Yeah, it sounds like a bloop.
It sounds like a bloop.
It's
It's all like
Famously.
According to NOAA, as I said, it was detected over 3,000 miles away and lasted 3 minutes. Additionally, when sped up, it resembled a woman's voice, which left scientists scratching their heads.
That's insane. That's like fucking time travel shit.
The recording came from NOAA's Autonomous Hydrophone Array, a network of individual hydrophones that act as microphones, detecting sound and converting them into electrical signals. Now, what made this discovery even more strange was that when the hydrophones were deployed in arrays, scientists should be able to determine the direction the sound came from, as sound is directional. However, despite having these tools, scientists struggled to find the origin of the woman's voice. They weren't able to exactly pinpoint it.
Well, that's fucking terrifying.
Don't worry, the article continues.
I think we can all agree that that's absolutely terrifying.
And for those of you who are wanting to hear this sound, I finally was able to pull it up real quick. Let me share my screen with sound. And here is one from Nod Nerb.
Oh, not Nerb.
Nod Nerb. And this is the Julia sound, which is the sound that we are talking about.
It's actually quite soothing.
Like a woman's voice, Nate?
Yep, like a woman's voice.
It's got some eeriness to it. It gave me goosebumps a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't enjoy this.
I'm not
and it
sure
is
if
freaky.
I'm hearing it. Oh, is that it?
Well, they did say that it, when they sped it up, it sounded like a woman's voice.
Well, my friends, thanks to the power of YouTube, we can do that.
Something abnormal with the flow of the sound, but my ear isn't trained well enough to pick it up.
In no way am I a ocean sound expert, and the most I've ever delved into this are whale songs and the bloop.
And I am an ocean sounds expert from the online College of Ocean Soundology, and I wasn't very good at it there either.
It does not have a lot of what am I trying to say? Whale song energy? Maybe it does.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, this one, I think, kind of you can hear it a little more.
So, scientists attempted to locate the exact source of the sound, later nicknamed Julia, as we said, but the results were never conclusive. The closest that they have come to narrowing its location down to a region, and that is between the Bransfield Strait and the Cape of Adare off the eastern Antarctic coast.
Okay.
Kind of I'm not gonna lie, kind of bloop area, relay in the Pacific Ocean area, you know.
It's spooky.
Eventually, NOAA concluded that the Julia sound was caused by natural phenomenon similar to the previous unexplained ocean sounds like the famous bloop. Scientists now believe that these sounds were most likely caused by a massive iceberg running aground. However,
Is it
the
that
bloop,
convenient.
the bloop and this sound are very different.
Mhm.
And as I said, I'm not an expert. You are an expert with a PhD from the Oceanographist Alumni Association of Sound Online.
That's what the guy said.
I forgot what you said. I apologize.
Yep, so did I. So as long as I don't have to repeat it, I'm fine.
This conclusion makes sense in theory. When an iceberg runs aground or scrapes the seafloor, it produces a powerful vibration known as an ice quake. According to geophysicist Bob Zike, who recorded sounds of iceberg A53A running aground and breaking apart in 2007, the noise generated somewhat similar to that of an erupting volcano.
Oh.
And then once again, we're far from the sounds that we're hearing here, but as written, these events do have weird sounds that you would not expect it to make underwater. Should we get into some crazy ideas as we end this episode?
Hit me with the bat shit.
Conspiracy theories about Julia's voice.
Nice. Come on and hit me with the bat shit.
So, I'm sure you are already aware in the back of your minds, people listening and fellow host of Werewolf Radar, a lot of people think that this noise came from a undiscovered sea creature.
We're all thinking it.
When sped up 15-second Julia recording being widely distributed across the internet, so there's a very short one that's sped up like 33 minutes into 15 seconds would be, I don't know, let's make up a number, 5,000% speed up.
Sure.
Many theorists think that the sound is reminiscent to a woman's voice and could have come from a half-human sea creature.
There it is. We got mermaids, y'all. Mermaid
We're
radar.
in mermaid country. Yeah, Shorbo.
We can't stop here. Mermaid country.
Others have suggested the sound came from an undiscovered ocean dweller with strange evolutionary traits, allowing it to make sounds loud enough to be heard across the Pacific Ocean. Once again, 3,000 miles. I forgot the distance of the bloop sound, but that one also had some reach.
It's probably similar.
It was out there. Commenters on Reddit wrote, I'm thinking it was caused by some kind of geological feature. Weird bit of reasoning across the Reddit realm. I kid. There's a lot of reasonable people on there.
Yeah.
At least 7.
I'm thinking it was aliens. But that's how they said it. Yeah. I'm thinking it was aliens. Check, please.
One person out here is shouting the power of small things.
Oh.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a large animal, does it? The white bellbird call is 125 decibels.
Consider the mantis shrimp.
And how it screams when I poke it with a stick.
Observe. He hates it.
But the point is solid. The small bird is just 40 decibels quieter than a blue whale sound. People following another theory claim that NASA's 33A5 satellite captured a huge underwater shadow near the proposed source of the sound at the same time it was recorded.
Okay. That's strange.
However, NASA has not confirmed this, as they truly have more important things to be doing.
They don't do crossover with other federal agencies.
That as well. They're very singular.
Secret.
But that is my short little segment to end this episode. I don't think it is truly a woman's voice. However, maybe ghost. in underwater, sound moves a little bit slower. Maybe if we're gonna pin it on a woman's voice, maybe someone drowned 25 years ago, screamed as their last before the water entered their lungs.
Became
Or
cursed.
maybe Antarctica is a lady continent.
Ah, a continent.
That's why there's an A at the end.
Yeah.
As Africa is its niece.
Yes. Wild. That's I'm always creeped out by big strange sound from under the sea.
It's freaky. We don't know what's in there. If we remember the deep star 4000 creature, a creature with scales the size of large saucer plates,
A massive fish.
just looked at this submarine, and it was quite the size larger than the submarine. You know, we don't know what's down there.
Yeah.
We know more about what's that place called? The moon.
What's that other place? Kansas.
We know more about Kansas than we do what's underneath the sea.
Folks, that does it for another episode of Werewolf Radar. We hope you enjoyed this one. I enjoyed this one, filled with good vitamin haha. That's a special new vitamin gas from Monstroco that makes you laugh, like the Joker's laughing gas. We hope you have enjoyed everything up until this point in the podcast.
You can stop enjoying it now.
You can stop now. But what we would like you to do is give us 5 stars wherever podcasts can be rated. And we'd love for you to check out our YouTube channel, as well as our patreon.com/werewolf radar. If you are interested in what you heard today for the first time, if you're hearing this for the first time in the distant future, hell, maybe it's still up. Head to patreon.com and find Werewolf Radar in the blasted wasteland of New Connecticut.
Yeah, we're all moving to Connecticut, by the way.
Jack in and support us with a small financial donation, and you too will get access to all of the second episode every week, merch opportunities, fiction, fun, art, you name it.
Save your money. Really, the best way to support us is, giving us 5-star ratings, thumbs up, watching the videos. But you know what? You know what isn't gonna be raising the price because of tariffs? Our Patreon. It's tariff-free, baby.
Or are we missing a huge opportunity to gouge our base?
Like what corporations are doing?
In the fashion of the U.S. government. All right, y'all, that does it for this one. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, as ever, on the count of 3, our sign off line. 1, 2, 3.
Punch the sky, Spaceman Joe.